Hi ladies, welcome to today's live, which is the last part about bloating. So yeah, it's dark again, so hopefully soon we will actually still have some daylight at this time of the day. I hope you've been all having a lovely week, and I have to say the weather has been so much better this week here. Actually, we've been seeing some sunshine, so that makes me really hopeful that it's going to be spring soon. But let me stop blabbering about that. We wanted to talk about bloating. So I've divided this into three parts, and the first part was about basically when you're bloated all the time. So you basically, your belly is swollen all the time, no matter, even, you get up in the morning. It's not necessarily linked to you've just eaten, or it's the end of the day or something like that. So this is really a sign that your body's dealing with some toxin overload, and it's basically your liver being overworked and making that bloat. So a way to release that, of course, is tending to your liver. And I think in the world that we live in, and the amount of toxins and stress that we're all exposed to, everyone really needs to detox regularly. So I definitely do recommend that. And for everyone who may be affected by that and who hasn't seen that first part, it's still available in the group. So I invite you to go back to the first video that I made to talk about the solutions to help clear up your liver. And for anyone who said, that's me, basically I'm also starting my detox program soon. It will actually start at the 3rd of March. So that would be a perfect way to, relieve some of that toxic burden from your liver. So if anyone's interested in that, definitely let me know, and I'll share some more details with you. But yeah, as I said, today I wanted to talk about basically the third reason for bloating. So the second was that I talked about last week was basically when you get bloating immediately after you've eaten something. So that's more of an immune reaction, and often we have food sensitivities going on, and there's or overgrowth of bad bacteria in our gut. So this is really something where you need to dig a little bit deeper, and definitely work with a skilled practitioner who can help you restore balance in your microbiome and also get rid of those food sensitivities. But today I wanted to talk about the third reason you can have for bloating, and that's basically when your bloating happens not immediately after you eat, but as a delayed response, like let's say 3 to 4 hours after you eat, or at the end of the day. Basically, you've put on that skirt or those, skinny pants in the morning, and you were like, oh, all confident, and then at the end of the day you feel like, ugh, I actually need to open my button, without anyone noticing. So pull over that blouse so that nobody sees. So that's the kind of bloating that that's actually often linked to fermentation, and that's probably the easiest one that you can get rid of by yourself. So let's talk about that a little bit more. So basically, it will, you can also test it, and the fermentation will probably most likely be from undigested or not well digested carbohydrates. So, rice, barley, wheat, bulgur, basically any of those grains, if they're not digesting very well, they will ferment in your intestines. And, the bacteria that will try to digest them will create the gas that will cause you the bloating. And they will also, often you will probably not only have that bloating, but you will also have gas with it. So one really important thing that everyone should do, and that I also need to remind myself of all the time is when you eat, you sit down. You sit down because when you're standing eating, I was doing this all the time, gulping down a smoothie at the kitchen counter quickly as breakfast, or, just eating. Some people are eating while they're walking, or basically eating while. That's a big no-no. So you have to sit down because otherwise your brain will not be in this, as we call it, the rest and digest state. So you need to sit down when you eat so that your body can actually be in that parasympathetic state, and that it will produce the digestive juices that you need to, properly break down your food. And then the second one is chewing your food thoroughly. And also not, gulping down your food. So you sit down, you chew thoroughly, and you don't eat too fast. And that will actually also help you to not eat too much. So that's one really easy thing that you can do. Then also what you can pay attention to is, our digestive function is basically the most performant in the morning and up until about like lunchtime, and then as our cortisol, actually it's kind of the same, goes down from the afternoon. So basically eat the foods that are not so easy to digest in the morning and up until lunch. So you will eat basically meats that are hard to digest, and raw foods, for instance, like salads or, these kind of things. So all these things you would eat rather in the morning and up until lunch. And then in the evening, you will eat cooked foods. And ideally, you will also have vegetarian dinner. So I usually have any mix of cooked vegetables, and I will actually have collagen as my protein for dinner. But that could also be like a white fish, or maybe some not too fatty chicken. Something that's not like red meat is not really the thing that you would want to eat late at night, because you need some time to digest it, and actually you would also much better digest it in the morning. And anyways, in perimenopause, we want to start our day with a high protein and high fat breakfast. So, that also basically goes along with that. So, another thing that you also need to take into account is eat regular meals, because many people kind of run off with half breakfast and have a protein bar or like a cereal bar on the way, and that's breakfast. No. And coffee. No. And then maybe you'll be busy all day and you just have a quick snack, and then by 3 p.m. you're just completely exhausted and you haven't actually had a real meal, and your blood sugar is a mess and you're irritable and bloated and all that. So don't skip the meals. Your body needs to eat on a regular basis. So you want to at least have 2 meals. You could also, intermittent fasting can actually be a good thing if that agrees with you. But definitely make sure you have at least 2 consistent meals, and you also have them at regular times. So those, that was number 4. Sit down and eat and chew well. Eat easy digestible foods in the evening, and the ones that are harder to digest in the morning. Have regular meals. No, that was the 3rd one. So something that you also may want to try is actually trying supplements like digestive enzymes or digestive bitters. So you can find them anywhere on Amazon. Those kind of it's called digestive bitters. So those are drops that you will actually take before a meal. You could also try apple cider vinegar. That will kind of have the same effect. Or you could try, bitter herb infusions, like dandelion tea, for instance. And yeah, there's also digestive enzyme blends that you could use to help you digest better, for sure. Then another thing that plays into the, sit down when you eat and be mindful is, you definitely want to make sure that you're not, being this crazy person running around stressing all day. So, if you catch yourself that, just, catch a breath and give yourself a break, sit down, take a deep breath and also let it out, really just sigh it out so that you can relax a little bit, because your brain is basically, wired and, in this kind of go, stress mode. And when it's in that mode, your brain is also the one directing your pancreas to produce digestive juices. So it has very much an effect on how you digest your food, or if you are, even getting nutrients from your food. So don't underestimate that. And also, I talk a lot about hormones usually, and I mean, actually insulin is also a hormone that's produced by your pancreas. But when your brain is in stress mode, it also usually affects your hormone production. So the more stress you have, the less hormones you have, and the more you will feel all the damn hairy symptoms, right? So, or menopause symptoms. So definitely something that you always want to work on, no matter what your goal is. Reduce your stress. And so normally I recommend to eat fiber-rich foods, and I would still recommend that to anyone, also with bloating. But then you may actually need to try, if you're not used to eating a lot of fiber and you get bloated, you definitely need to increase your fiber slowly. So, you don't want to go from 10 grams of fiber intake per day to 35 grams, because that's what is recommended. You may actually just increase a little bit every day. And for fiber, I really love flax seeds. I love chia seeds, and also psyllium husk is really, really good. So they're all they have good fats, except the psyllium, which is actually pretty much 0 calories. So basically, they are all really nourishing for the gut as well. And you should not get bloating from eating those kind of fibers. But if you're eating like a lot of like whole grains, or those are the things that your body can struggle with a little bit. So, definitely go for those fibers first. Then, you can also try the legumes, like lentils and beans. Also very high in fiber, but for some people may be hard to digest and can cause gas and bloating. So definitely, and in this case, you may actually just add some, digestive enzymes to help you digest them better, or try out, different ones. For instance, I just can't do chickpeas. I'm like, no way. I mean, I did probably overdo the hummus at one point, and I ended up having a food sensitivity against it. But oh my gosh, I mean, they're really, really hard to digest. But so I'm just making my hummus from, any other bean or from lentils. So I'm, kind of rotating and changing every week. And I appreciate if you're not making it your own, then of course it's, more difficult to find that in a store. But definitely, if you have a problem with hummus, just, try making your own with a different sort of bean, or try other beans, not as hummus. So that can definitely help. So I think those are actually the main points that I wanted to mention. Then maybe lastly, yes, our hormones can also play a role in here. And actually, when our progesterone is low in the second half of our cycle, and then also that happens a lot in perimenopause, that many women have low progesterone all the time, right? That can also actually increase your bloating, and that's because that lack of progesterone will increase your cortisol, and it will just create more stress and more inflammation, and therefore you may actually get water retention and bloating linked to a lack of progesterone. So definitely also something to consider if it's something that actually only comes up at when you're going towards your period, or that has actually only come up, you know, basically when you can see there's a link to the cycle or the hormones, and basically none of the other things that I mentioned before, right? Okay, so I don't want to make this too long. I will let you go back to your evening. If you have any questions, as always, just hit me in the chat and I will make sure I tend to them. And definitely, so next month we will talk about weight loss every Wednesday, and I will break them down in short ones. I will talk about, you know, weight loss and hormones, and weight loss and peptides, and weight loss and inflammation. And so basically there will be, you know, different shorter sessions every Wednesday that will give you a breakdown of, you know, all the things that impact weight gain in perimenopause and menopause, and, you know, what you can do to actually get rid of that, especially that kind of muffin top, or that menobelly, as some people also call it, right? Okay, so now I will stop there and I will speak to you next Wednesday.